Hi everyone, it's Aga from EurekaCrystalBeads.com and I'm here with another fun beading tutorial for you. Before I get started, as always, check out the rest of our channel, and if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you always know when we're posting new content. So today we're going to be making this super easy and super quick and subtly patriotic bracelet in red, white, and blue. So this is for all those of you who want to have some of the national colors with them for their everyday outfits. This is just very elegant, very subtle, and has just the right amount of shine versus the slightly matte satin finish on the pearls. So yeah, let's make it. So to make the bracelet, you're going to need, first and foremost, crystal Montees, and I'm going to talk about them a little bit more in a second. You're going to need 4mm pearls, and here I have Krakowski pearls in the color Waterfront Blue. And some customers wrote to us recently that they found some of the coating from the pearls peeled off in the bag. And about that, I have to tell you, don't worry about it, because it's usually not from the pearls. So if you have the coating flaked off in your bag with the pearls, that's most likely because the pearls are coated when they're already on the string. So the coating that you see flaked off in the bag is mostly the leftover coating from the string that kind of peeled off. For the bracelet, you're also going to need some GemDuos. Here I have these beautiful white luster GemDuos, and as always, just make sure that both of the holes are unplugged, because you don't want to find yourself having to go back and take the bead out of your beadwork because one of the holes is blocked. Then you're also going to need some 11-0s. Here I have these white ones. And to close your bracelet, you're going to need some clasp. Here I have this lovely and kind of popular recently hard clasp. This is actually not silver. This is white gold plated, but it does look silver. It's very high quality and it's absolutely beautiful. In addition to that, you're going to need 2 jump rings to attach to that clasp. And that's it when it comes to materials. And when it comes to supplies, you're going to need 2 needles because we're going to be doing a 2-needle approach and 2-needle technique. Some thread, and here I have my trusty crystal extra fine 4LB Fairline thread. I'm also going to need some pliers to open and close these rings, and scissors to get off the excess thread. And that's basically it. Let's start beading. Right, before we start, I actually want to tell you a little bit about Montees, a little bit more. Because there's 2 kinds of Montees, or Montees, and I didn't know that for quite a while when I started beading, so I thought I could tell you a little bit about this here as well. So you have this type of a Montee, which is a point back stone essentially, and it's in this kind of a tall setting. It also has these holes, but there's also a flat back Montee. You can see here, it has a flat back, and on the back it has these kind of crisscross paths for where you put your thread, and it's very, very thin. So I did not know that for way too long. So I'm just letting you know these are gorgeous and are beautiful and are high quality because these Montees are from Preciosa crystal. So this is Czech crystal, it's lead free, it's just beautiful. So the pattern that we're doing today is actually super simple. It's a variation of right angle weave. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is putting the thread on my needles, both of them, and the amount of thread depends on what length do you want to do for this, because you could obviously make it as a necklace as well, and that will look absolutely lovely. But for me, for the bracelet, I would say between 3 and 4 times your wrist size would be great. For me, that will be just over my half of my wingspan, so like 3/4 of my wingspan. Alright, so I have the thread on both of my needles, and I'm actually going to start with a clasp just to save myself some work at the end. I'm gonna put on the jump rings and close them up already. This is so that I can add the clasp on as I go. You can also add it on later, but I just find it more convenient to add it right away. Just remember to get the jump rings closed properly so that they don't slip out as you add them on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my clasp and put it on one of my needles. Then I'm going to pick up 2 11-0s on each needle. And then I'm going to pick up an extra 11-0 on one of the needles. Oh, by the way, because I didn't mention the size of the needles, for this bracelet, it will actually work if you use size 10, 11, or 12. My preference is 12 because if they're fine, you can actually go through like the central bead that we're going to be going through with both of the threads. You can go through it simultaneously with both of the needles, and that's cool. So this last bead that I added, the extra bead, I'm gonna go through it the other way in the other direction with my other needle. So we want the 2 threads crisscrossing in this last bead. And actually you might want to hold the needles together as you slide this entire sequence to the middle of the thread, just like this, so that you have a sort of a circle. And now with one of the threads, you go through all of the beads in the circle twice more so that you secure your clasp in place. Alright, and in the end, you want to end up with your 2 ends of the thread coming out of different sides of the same bead. What you're gonna do now is you're gonna pick up 1 blue pearl on each of the needles, and then we're gonna grab one of the Montees. And now we want to make sure that you're gonna pick up all of them from this one forward, because the GemDuos also have a front and a back, and the back is flat. So you just have to mind where the front is. For the clasp, it doesn't matter, it looks the same on both sides. But I'm gonna start with this one like that. So I'm going through one of the channels under the stone, and with the other needle, I can go directly and at the same time through the other channel, and I just pull it down on my thread, and there we go. Now I'm gonna pick up 2 more pearls, 1 pearl on each side, and now 1 11-0 on each needle. And now I'm gonna check which needle is which so that I'm sure that I pick up the GemDuo so that it ends up facing the same side as my Montee. And I'm just gonna go through this bottom hole of the GemDuo from the 2 sides so that when you pull it together, what you have is this. Now it's time for 3 11-0s on each side, and I'm gonna crisscross the threads in the other hole again, just like so. This one goes the other way. So the left one goes right and the right one goes left. Simple as that. Remember to pull it tight every time so that everything holds together. And now we're on the other side of the GemDuos, so we're going with the 11-0 first and then a pearl on each side. And again, I'm going to pick up a Montee and I make sure that I'm going the right way. So with my left needle, I'm going from the left side as I hold it facing me. And with the other needle, I'm going into the other channel of that Montee. Now we're going out of the Montee, so I'm going in with pearls first and then 1 11-0 on each side. And now the GemDuo, starting on this side, and I just know I have to go into that GemDuo from the other side with the other needle. Laying it out like on a flat surface really helps, so you always know that you're going in from the right side. And see, I already have this much done. You can really make a full bracelet in like 15 minutes, maybe 20, super easy. And I'm even considering making a necklace using this pattern because it's super easy, super quick, and super fun. 3 11-0s on each needle now. And I'm gonna go through the top hole of this GemDuo. Pulling it together. And you basically just go on until you've reached your desired length of a bracelet. Alright, so I've reached the length that I want with this bracelet, and incidentally, it's going to end with the GemDuo as the main bead, the main thing, as opposed to when I started, and I started with a Montee. But this doesn't matter because what's important is that we're going to end with pearls anyway. So I'm picking the 11-0 and the pearl that I normally would after adding a GemDuo, but in between them, I'm additionally picking up an 11-0 with one needle, and then I'm going through that 11-0 in the other direction with the other needle so that the threads crisscross inside of the bead. And what I end up with is exactly what I started with. Now to attach the clasp, I'm going to separate the two halves of the magnetic clasp, and the one that's not attached by the jump ring, I'm going to bring to the end of my bracelet, and it's going to be attached this way because when I hold the bracelet on the right side, this half of the clasp is facing me with the magnet facing down, so the other half needs to be the other way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up two 11-0s with one of the needles, then my clasp. So I just mind that this thread is coming out of the left side. So I'm going into this jump ring from the left side as well, looking in the direction that it's supposed to end up in. And now I'm going to pick up two more 11-0s, and I'm going to go and make a circle around that 11-0 in here. So I'm going to go from right to left in this case. So I end up with this. And now I can just go around all of the beads in this loop twice more. I'm just going to go in with the other thread. So from the right side now. Making sure that it's all nice and tight. I'm going to go through it once more. From this side maybe. It's important to have like at least 3 threads in this loop so that it's nice and strong. There, and now it's just time to weave in the ends and make little knots with each end of the thread, and I find that the best spot for it would be when I go down through this sequence of beads. Then I'm gonna go through the GemDuo, and I'm gonna do the same on the other side. So down through the pearl and the 11-0, and through the GemDuo. So I'm just gonna grab both of these threads, so the one that comes into that a second hole of the GemDuo with the 3 11-0s, and the one that comes out of it into that single 11-0 that goes into the pearl. So that's where I go. Oh, I just need to catch this loop that is created here. And I pull it down, go through it, make the second loop, go through it, pull it down as well. And there we have a nice and strong knot. I'm just gonna go through that 11-0 and the pearl up again to hide the knot, and I can cut off the tail. I'll do the same on the other side. There, and that's the bracelet all done. And so easy to close. And so pretty. Who wouldn't want a heart on their patriotic bracelet, right? Alright guys, so that's the tutorial. All of the materials, as always, can be found at eurekaCrystalBeads.com. Let me know what other colors you will be making this in. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!